Hello everyone, this is Carly from the Poetry of Nice, and I'm here with a weekly sales update video for you guys for both Etsy and eBay. I hope everyone had a really awesome Thanksgiving week, and I will just crack on and show you how my sales went on this holiday week slash weekend. Okay, so Etsy first. The first thing I'm going to show you guys is this this Viewmaster, oh gosh, you know what I mean. It's like a vintage toy, right? And then the reels and a couple of the like advertising slips that go with it. There was only 2 reels there. They were from like the 40s, 50s Wonders of the World series, and the Viewmaster itself actually I got outside of these little reels. I bought them all separately, and that was only 25 cents. So I kind of came across a few of those in the last few weeks that I was sourcing and decided to bundle them up, and I guess that's what I needed to do because it finally sold. So total for everything you see here, I spent $1.25 at yard sales and bought all of these little bits and pieces, and it sold for $19.95 with buyer paying shipping. Next thing is this little enamel pin of this drum set. Just like a stick pin back, made in the USA. Pretty cool. So this actually turned out to be pretty much free. I got this in a big lot of enamel pins. I picked out all the ones that happened to do with like reading and education, lotted them all together and sold those for $30. I actually paid $2 for the whole baggie of them, and then since then I've been selling off individual ones for around $12.95 a piece. So I've done pretty well out of that little bag. And yes, this one did sell for $12.95, and it went to Nashville, Tennessee, so hopefully to some musician. Next is this little vintage children's book, Christmas themed. Paid 75 cents for this at a yard sale, and it sold for $7.95 in about an hour of listing it. Definitely the right time of year to be listed now. Okay, next is this vintage Gap sweater. Very cool. These like little grey elbow patches. You can see inside here. Some of the graphics are a little bit older there. Just like a basic knit sweater. I actually paid $4.99 for this at a thrift store, which is more than I would usually pay, and it sold for $19.95, which isn't fantastic, but I ended up dropping that price a little bit just to get it moving, and $19.95 was the sweet spot, but still a little bit of profit to be made there. Next is this little vintage children's book. I actually did this picture this way because it was two-sided. It was sort of like you flipped it upside down. There was a brand new story. Obviously Sesame Street. From the 1970s. I paid 25 cents for this at a thrift store, like kind of last chance outlet store that we have nearby that pretty much only has books. So 25 cents for this, and it sold for $7.95. Next is this Tommy Hilfiger purse. This was, I think it was a salute style purse, I can't remember, but it was still had new with tags. I could not find hardly anything on this particular style. It was definitely an older style compared to what all they have at the moment, and I actually got this as a church rummage sale. I picked this up for 89 cents when everything was parted. Oh no, I'm sorry, 90 cents. There you go, 1 cent difference. And when everything was parted out, and it sold finally for $39.95. This sold again. So this had come back to me. The person just didn't really like it when they received it. So I put a lot more condition notes in here. I sort of devoted a paragraph really to describing the ins and outs of this piece, because when she got it, she didn't feel, this was the original buyer, she hadn't felt that it was particularly finished or particularly high quality, but it is finished. It has a manufacturer's tag, and it was decent quality as well. It was just made of acrylic, and yeah, it had like a stiffness to it almost. It wasn't like your regular blanket. So I talked about it a little bit here and about like the sort of textural qualities and whatnot. And so hopefully that will help whoever has bought this time. But anyway, I sold it originally for $124.95. I actually listed this time for $99.95, so around the $100 mark, and it actually moved within like a week and a half of relisting it. So I was pretty pleased with that. And I only spent 62 cents on this originally at a church rummage sale. This pin, beat up as it is, finally sold. It's obviously progressive. It's got a bull moose on it, political pin from the 1970s, super beat up. You can see all the rust on the back there, but it was still a really cool piece, especially for anyone who's doing jewelry making. I got this in a huge lot of vintage political pins, worked out about 54 cents per pin. I've been selling them steadily for about $6.95, and that's how much this one sold for. This little vintage Porsche wooden car. I believe this is a massager, is what people have told me. But it's very cool, very different. Well, quite different anyway. I picked this up at a yard sale for $1, and it's all for $14.95 to a lady whose husband is actually working on a Porsche 911 at the moment. So this is like a little funny gift she's got for him, presumably for Christmas, which is kind of cool. This I picked up for $1 at a yard sale. It was still new with tags, and it had these awesome, like, kind of embroidered chips and dice and cards, obviously Las Vegas themed. It had shoulder pads. It was pretty cool. But yes, $1, and it sold for $19.95. And the person who bought it said that their family were actually having a Las Vegas themed Christmas party. So this has definitely gone to a good home. This finally sold. This is just 3 sheets of gift wrap. But I thought this was kind of cool. Just loads of random cats all over. I actually thought this would have sold longer, but it sat for probably about 6 to 7 months at this point. Anyway, it paid about 10 cents for all 3 sheets of this, and it sold for $9.95. These I picked up a whole lot of roadmaps and old, like, advertising, like vacation homes and all that kind of stuff, from like the kind of 50s, 60s, 70s, whole stack of them. So I just kind of divided them out a little bit. Here was kind of an arrangement of them, and so all in all, for these 5, I think when it's all parted out, this entire 5 here cost me about 25 cents because I paid $1 for the entire lot, and it sold for $14.95. This, like, fold out Christmas card, it's really hard to describe. It was like a border. It would have been looked really cool on somebody's mantle. It was written in, it was originally a card, but just got some really sweet cats spelling out Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. I paid $1 for this at a yard sale, and it sold for $12.95. And last thing on Etsy this week is this vintage Tommy Hilfiger shirt. I paid $2 for this at a half-price thrift store sale that was happening, and it sold for $24.95. All right, so my gross profit for Etsy this week for the 14 sales that I had was $313.30. And what I'll do is I'll show you eBay next, and then I will let you know what I spent on everything, what my gross profit altogether was, and then what my net profit was after fees and all that stuff has been taken out. Okay, so onto eBay. I sold some fabric. This fabric I paid 50 cents for at a yard sale. It was about, it says up here, about 1.8 yards. I always kind of underestimate when I measure, but it was very nice with this kind of pale blue thing inside of here, a little detailing. There was a little bit of cutting to it there and some writing on it, but overall it was a very cool piece. I actually took a best offer on this of $43. So, okay. It was on sale for $44.99. I took a best offer of $43, so that works. And the buyer paid shipping. And this little porcelain candle holder, I spent $1 on this at an estate sale right at the beginning of the season, and I only just listed it since kind of Christmas time is coming, and it sold on sale for $26.24. This little cloth guy, little doll, he definitely had a few marks here and there. You know, his little shoelace down here is a little bit beat up, but he's a very sort of classic 80s toy, and I got him for 50 cents at a yard sale, and he sold on sale for $14.99. 2 little photography light meters here. I sold them both completely untested because I do not know what I'm doing with light meters, and I won't pretend that I do. But actually, pretty much, I marked down that I got these for free. I got a huge, like, camera photography, blah, 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 lot, just bunch of stuff in a camera case at one point, and I sold the camera at a very good profit. And then other bits and pieces I've just been selling as I go, and these are sort of an example of that. So I haven't even marked down that I spent any money on them, basically, because it cost me $2.50 for the entire lot, and the camera body itself sold for, I think it was like $85. So this is just extra that happened to be tucked down in the bottom of the camera case. So it sold on sale for $11.24 for the 2 of them. These sold, I got these not long ago at all from a yard sale for $2 for the entire lot of them. They all worked and sang and did, I guess, what they were supposed to do. In fact, they never stopped, let's be real. My kids love them. I had to kind of prize them away and hide them. But these little toys, like, when you think of like the Wiggles or Little Einsteins, those kind of things, those kind of more obscure, slightly older toys, or series. Barney the Dinosaur I do really well with, not to this extent, but anyway, they tend to sell pretty good. So the fact that I had the whole lot of them, I think the only one I was missing was there's a dog. If I had the dog, I guess that would have done better, but anyway, I ended up taking a best offer of $100, which I was more than happy with because I paid $2 for them, and $100. Why the heck not? So, and then they went back off to Australia, which was kind of cool. So yes, that was a pretty good sale this week as well. So this little lot of 5 VeggieTales DVDs, they were all working. I tested them. I spent $4.25 in total on the 4 of them. I just kind of collect them over time. I still have some left over, and I just tend to lot them together. And they sold for $14.99. This dress I picked up again only a few weeks ago, probably one of the last church rummage sales that I hit up. And I paid 89 cents for it as well. I just kind of found it on a rack. I noticed it was Tommy Hilfiger and that it was a denim dress and that it was a slightly larger size 18. So I went ahead and grabbed it without realizing that it was actually new with tags. Woohoo! Didn't you love it when you find that kind of stuff? So I got it home, realized it was new with tags, and that the price marked on the tag there is $78. I actually took a best offer of $45, but it was only listed for a couple of weeks, and $45 from 89 cents I'm very happy with. Sold this Wii game. I've got this marked down as free as well because this is just something that we owned and my kids just don't play with anymore, and this sold for $14.99 as well, and I actually paid for shipping, which I barely do. Usually buyer always pays for shipping, but I paid for shipping, which was about $2.65 for first class standard shipping. And the last thing this week was my last one of these holiday glow lighted greeting signs from the early 90s. They're like reproduction vintage Christmas signs. I bought 4 of them at $2.50 a piece. We kept one because it was really cool, and then we sold all 3, and all 3 have sold within the last month for $49.99 a piece on both. 1 sold on Etsy, 2 sold on eBay. So if you ever see these around, grab them for sure. They do really well, I guess, in this season. I'm really pleased with how well that's done. Okay, so that is everything that I sold this week. So my gross profit this week before fees or anything is $633.74. Bearing in mind I spend about 1 to 2, sometimes 3 at a push hours a day working on listing, packing, all that kind of stuff. So it's very, very part-time for me. The total that I spent on all of the product that I showed you today was $26.39. And when all of the fees and things have been taken into consideration, that is Etsy store fees, final value fees, PayPal fees, and listing fees for Etsy as well. All of those things have been taken off, including the money spent on all of the product. My net profit this week was $556.54. So not bad at all for a little part-time gig. I'm very pleased anyway. It's nice to have that on the work up to Christmas. So I'm challenging myself to list a little bit more this week, trying to get a bit more product, a bit more inventory up there so that people can hopefully buy it as they got the shopping bug, right? But let me know how you guys are doing. Is the season picking up for you? Are you selling a lot of Christmas stuff? What do you see happening out there? It's always interesting to find out what everybody else is experiencing. All right, guys, I will talk to you all soon, and thank you so much. Subscribe if you enjoy this, and give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know what's going on. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.